Hey guys, this is Alex from 4C Trading, and today let's check up on another old gem that hasn't done much lately yet. I mean, I haven't traded this coin in the past year at all, but I do remember trading this coin a lot back in 2018, and I was quite surprised to see that they had amazing setup volume coming in, and it actually pumped for like 300 400%. So it was absolutely amazing to see something like this happen to an old coin like this to begin with, right? So now, speaking of which, I am on KuCoin exchange and I am on Nano USDT. I'm gonna be doing USDT type of contracts again. As you can see, they did pump almost 400%. So we will now see and kind of check what kind of areas we can expect from this coin and what kind of areas we would like to test in the future, and possibly, you know, try to find a opportunity on it. And you know, so from seeing this chart from far out, I can already tell that there are about 2 opportunities on it. So let's try to identify these 2 opportunities. So the number 1 area for this kind of it, and this time around, this area has actually already been tested. It's already here. So yes, this is one of the area that has unfortunately already been tested, but due to the fact that we had such a large pullback and we managed to test it, let's go a little bit closer. We managed to test it in like this and pump for 30% already. I mean, sort of reacting for 30% already. We can actually jump on a smaller time frame and find a position within this structure which will fit a little bit as better, and it will serve us with a smaller stop loss than the main area as well. So originally speaking, our stop loss, if we took the higher time frame position, would be probably located somewhere down here, right? Somewhere down here. Now using, and if I'm not mistaken, that stop loss, if we gather to enter around the middle of the box, that stop loss would then stretch itself over 20%, right? So definitely not acceptable for us. But most of our trades are taken this way, and there's a good explanation to why that is so. Because on the first touch, you're actually going for a knife catch, right? So as you do a big area on a bigger time frame and you have a fat area like this, you never know where inside of that area it's going to react to begin with. So that's why usually when I do take the trades, I make a big fat area for it, because somewhere in that area is going to react and you have to stack buys, and you have to stack buys on top, middle and bottom usually, right? But there are other methods that sometimes we can use as well, and these methods are called, you know, just waiting for a reaction and then entering trade on a lower time frame basis, thus gaining a smaller stop loss for that trade and sometimes even a lot better position. And you already know a smaller stop loss does instead mean a much better position to start with, right? Because you will be essentially making more R's. So right now in this case, we already see, right, that we've created a low here and we've created another low here, and from that low going forward we pumped a little bit and gained over to the left side. So now that is going to be my next target to actually aim for to get my fill. And now I'm going to delete this area right here, and I'm going to create a smaller one inside here, and this smaller area will now act as our new entry for the trade. So our trade will be taken right here, and we will be able to use this just a little bit upper. Actually, I'm going to be able to use this stop loss, and now my stop loss is going to be at 13%, which is definitely not something that we like again, right? I mean, we do like our stop losses to be naturally kept under 10%, but in this case it cannot really be done, right? I mean, usually if this was Forex, I would be placing my stop loss higher, I would be placing it around here, but due to the fact, you know, crypto right now overreacting much, if you're gonna be using a tap trade, then feel free to take the stop loss right here. But if you're not using a tap trader, then yes, you will have to go for a larger one. So for this sake, I'm gonna use the larger one, you know, just because I do think a lot of people are not using tap trader for their stop losses. So yes, now judging by this area, we can now again scooch over to a higher time frame to kind of see where our profit take should be. And our profit take, I'll simply tag it as a big green line, although this line is supposed to be an area, so do act for it. It's gonna act as an area. I'm just not gonna make it. I don't want to make the chart too dirty right now. So going now, finding one of my points of interest, I'm gonna find another one, and in this case there's another point of interest not too far from the first one, and both of these 2 points of interest already were tested. But also we need to remember that we already redrawn down for almost 50%. So we did go quite deep from this whole pump up, right? So yeah, now scooching over again to a lower time frame basis, now we get to see how much of the profit take that actually is. So for the first profit take, you can already see 2.8R and 36%. Now if you remember our first box, with that stop loss, with that fat stop loss, we would actually have a lot lesser R there, right? And you could see that 36% with that stop loss would only be a little bit more than 1R. So it wouldn't be actually a very nice trade to take, even though the area for it looks absolutely perfect for it, right? To take. Now, stretching all the way to the top, right, is gonna meet us with 71% or 5.6R, and now it's worth to mention that all of these prices can be seen on the right side of my screen. So as you can see, entry is around $2.6, the first profit take is around $3.6, and the second one, in this case, I'm gonna be contemplating if this is last profit take or not, is at $4.5. And in this case, watching this trade and going again to a higher time frame, seeing that this is one of the mainest areas of the chart, stating that this is one of the most important areas of a chart, I'm really contemplating if this should be my last profit take or not. So technically we did test this area already. So if we ever to return to it, we have drawn some liquidity off it, so we definitely have a good chances of breaking. So for that only fact, I will do a third profit take, even though I personally will probably not go for it, because personally speaking, if that does happen, I much rather go for a refill than just challenge an area like this, because I do think that from my personal experience, I left a lot of money on the table doing that back in the past, and I definitely don't see a benefit of doing this ever again. So yeah, kind of a personal experience, but to each of them your own, right? So again, having our last area right now, we will stretch it all the way up to there, and you can see the last area is at $6.50 around there, and brings us to 144% or 11.3R. Now it's worth to mention that yes, we have a cat in a bag right here, that Bitcoin and Ethereum actually went down for Bitcoin in fact went down for 10 grand. So far, if we scooch just a little bit over to Bitcoin, right, should really clear this area, so far we are still pretty much bullish on Bitcoin, right? We haven't lost any important areas, even though you go a little bit lower time frames to see those. This is one of those bigger areas right now, and you can see we still haven't lost it, right? There is definitely some chance that the bull market, as we know, may stop. There are some chances. Currently, perhaps 40 to 50% that the bull market is over. In that case, what I mean bull market is over, that I'm going to see some deeper pullbacks. If that does indeed happen, two things can happen with our Nano trade. So some money will now flow from Bitcoin to alts, right? Basically speaking, we will talk more about this tomorrow on a stream, but yes, Bitcoin dominance will probably most likely go down, which means that initial fact after the initial drop on Bitcoin will actually be good for all alts, because money will go from those alts, from the Bitcoin into those alts. But most likely when we see such phenomenon, Bitcoin contracts tend to do a little bit better than USDT contracts. So after seeing something like this, I'm gonna do another area for where we can take the trade on Nano BTC as well. And there is actually a really good trade happening here, because Nano BTC has only been going down since basically, right, forever. But right now we finally gained something to the left side. You can see this here. This couple of closes that we just had above there definitely has a good thing going for them. So right now on Nano BTC, we can be locating an area right down the middle. And the issue of this, why I haven't been talking about this trade before, is because the stop loss here is gonna be absolutely massive, but it really can't be helped. It is what it is when you're dealing with such trades. And you can see that the stop loss, we're most likely gonna have to putting it like this. If it goes any lower than this, then we will have another trade here, but this is something that we will talk in another time. This is another trade here, and it's actually the last one to be pulled on this coin. But definitely we do not want to see going that deep, because if it's going that deep, then it's most likely not gonna break the very top that we are aiming for here to be broken. So yes, our first trade and the most important trade that we actually wanted to see to last year actually has 26% stop loss, which is absolutely awful if you look at it from that perspective. But there isn't any other way for us to take this trade unless you wait for exactly the same thing to happen on lower time frames, something like this, but it has to move against the left side, it has to move above this, and then you will have a possibility of taking something like this with a stop loss underneath this structure. That is the only other fill-in option that I'm seeing right now, which I can't do yet, just because, you know, I have not seen the price action yet. I've not seen it develop properly. So if this is the area you want to take, then yes, your aim should be towards the top of the previous created area. Right now, as you can see, even going back on daily, this is a massive resistance that you already had trouble taking out, and you most likely are gonna have trouble taking out again. But once you do, this is gonna be a really good trade. So now moving this, stretching all the way to the top, you can see again 2.2R or 60% move. Definitely, again, even though we have this massive enormous stop loss, this is still turns out to be a really good trade at the end of the day, right? It's gonna take some longer time to play out, but frankly speaking, a really good trade. And what makes it a little bit more interesting, now going all the way up to a weekly time frame, you can see that the next most important area of this chart is located quite high up, and in this case it's going to be again one of probably my last profit take, because I do not wish to leave money on the table when you have dealing with such a big areas. But touching at the very last top area on the chart, the most main area on the chart, brings you up to 167% or 6.2R. And again, you can see all of the entries and targets on the right side, right? So yes, entry 7,000 satoshis, right? First profit take 11,000 satoshis, the last profit take 19,000 satoshis. So that would pretty much cover the entire aspect of Nano coin and what I'm looking for there. So if you guys like this sort of videos, please do share it with your friend, like the video, subscribe to our channel, right? We do these videos every day except on Sunday. And also guys, join us at free 4C community channels where we discuss, as you can see, trades like this. We discuss stop losses, Bitcoin analysis and Ethereum analysis and all of this good stuff. And also don't forget to join us on a live stream that we are going to be doing it today at 4 p.m. UTC time. So definitely join us there. Come there, ask us questions, you know, all of the stuff that you need to know. I will be there to answer it all to the best of my abilities, right? And we will be seeing each other in the next one.